Imagine golf, but instead of hitting the ball, you control the wind. That's Breezy, the indie game I'm working on. You know what this game needs? No, it started with a B. Okay, in the last devlog I mentioned that I was planning on making a beach sunset themed course. Well, I mean, a day-night cycle is sometimes a sunset. A broken clock is right twice a day, right? I'd like to give each course a unique song, atmosphere, and gameplay gimmick. These are all inspired by a particular game for each course, and I chose Animal Crossing for this course. Unfortunately, I haven't played any Animal Crossing games, but I know some stuff about the franchise, so I'll figure it out. Anyway, here's how I made each of these three elements. The song, like the other two songs in the game, was made in LMMS. I would use my MIDI keyboard, but the note delay makes it a bit of a pain, so I usually just stick to mouse controls. For something like Family Tracker, where you input the notes one by one, it's fine, but LMMS is just too fast-paced. I found the sound fonts Animal Crossing online and used it to create a little guitar melody, but I wanted to make more of an ambient vibe. For that, I used a wave sound effect that I also used in the first course. To finish off the song, I added a second half that used a little accordion melody, just so people don't get bored of hearing the same song over and over. And that's pretty much it. I'll have the full track uploaded soon. Now, I wanted to make this world a little more distinct by adding a day-night cycle like in Animal Crossing that works in real time. If you play during the day, it looks pretty similar to the first course, but if you play after 6 p.m., the game takes place at night. Of course, I don't want to disadvantage the night owl audience, so I added a little moon glow effect to the ball so you can see it at all times. The real kicker, though, is the beautiful view during sunrise and sunset at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. respectively. I actually discovered this effect after the second devlog when I was playing around with procedural skyboxes. I tried rotating the sun and I noticed that it changed the time of day with a dynamic sunset depending on the atmospheric thickness setting. All this is to say that I didn't actually have to do any complicated shader code, so if I don't have to do any work, I don't mind putting it in. Once the song and visuals were done, I just had to add a nice gameplay mechanic relating to the core idea of the course. And what better a mechanic than boats? Well, I guess that's kind of a given. Designing the boats themselves was easy. They're just a rectangular prism, or as mathematicians call it, a wide cube. By the way, since writing the script and recording some of the footage, I've actually remodeled the boats, and now they actually look like real boats. So that's kind of a plus. Anyway, that was easy. The hard part was making it so you could land on them. You see, when the ball stops moving in Breezy, I normally just disable physics until it starts moving again. This works fine until you introduce moving platforms, like the boats in this case. The ball will just freeze and the platform will move along without it. So to remedy this, I made it so if the ball lands on a boat, it will disable physics and set the boat as its parent. The problem with that method is that the ball is still frozen in place on top of the boat, so the boat won't move either. The method I ended up going with is one I call giving up. When the ball stops moving, it gets replaced with a fake ball with no physics capabilities, and that ball sets the boat as its parent. It's a bit of a hacky solution, but you won't notice a transition in-game since it happens instantaneously. So that's what I've been up to since the last devlog. It's always exciting making new levels, and it should be fun to come up with level ideas for the boats. But if you'll excuse me, it's 6 p.m, so I'm off to watch the sunset. Have a good day.